Jorge Sanders-Galvez, one of two men accused of killing Mr. Johnson, at the South Lee County Courthouse in Keokuk, Iowa, on Tuesday. Burlington, Iowa. At 16 years old, Kedarie Johnson stood out in this quiet city tucked beside the Mississippi River. He was black in a mostly white county in a mostly white state. His family had come from the west side of Chicago, a city 100 times the population of Burlington, and he sometimes dressed in women's clothes, favoring maxi skirts, decorated fingernails and hair weaves. For all the differences, Kedarie was widely accepted. He was a popular junior at the high school, known for his infectious laugh and dazzling grin. So it was all the more staggering to Burlington residents when Kedarie was found dead in 2016, shot to death, a plastic bag shoved down his throat and his body doused with bleach in a tranquil alley behind a row of houses up the hill from the river. As jurors on Thursday heard opening statements in a murder case against one man and as a second man awaited trial, an essential question loomed: was the killing of Kedarie, much as he may have been beloved in his own circles, a hate crime? Sign up for the morning briefing newsletter. Kedarie's case and that lingering question was thrust into the spotlight and inserted into a wider debate over national policies on gender identity when it came to light this month that Attorney General Jeff Sessions, a conservative who has rolled back legal protections for transgender people as a group, personally initiated federal involvement. The trial that is underway accuses Jorge Sanders-Galvez, 23, of first-degree murder under Iowa law, but the Justice Department has taken the highly unusual step of sending a lawyer experienced in federal hate crimes to help present the case. Local officials say that even as the state trial goes on, a federal grand jury is being convened to investigate the killing as a possible hate crime. Mr. Sessions has declared that the Justice Department no longer considers transgender people to be protected from workplace discrimination, and he reversed a policy encouraging schools to let transgender students use bathrooms that fit their gender identities. So when the Justice Department's involvement in Kedarie's case became public, civil rights groups responded with skepticism. Lambda Legal, an organization that advocates on behalf of gay and transgender people, said it was right that the federal authorities help seek justice for the killing of Kedarie, whom Lambda described as one of the far too many transgender people, and especially transgender people of color, targeted in the ongoing lethal epidemic of hate violence. But a Lambda official, Sharon McGowan, said Mr. Sessions' actions in the Southeast Iowa case were akin to handing out gasoline and matches, and then looking for a pat on the back when he prosecutes someone for committing arson. But here in Burlington, a manufacturing city of 25,000 known for a really crooked street, Snake Alley, and an annual Steamboat Days festival, Kedarie's case is deeply personal. His death was one of only 3 homicides last year, and some residents saw it as a troubling sign of rising violence in a peaceful city. After his body was found, residents packed into Burlington High School's gymnasium for an emotional viewing and funeral. Kedarie Johnson before the start of a change of venue hearing last year the murder trial of Jorge Sanders-Galvez, one of two men accused of killing her son. She viewed her son as gender fluid. He was very accepted by everyone. His mother, Kedarie Johnson, said, "That's why his death really shook this town up." Ms. Johnson said she had moved Kedarie and his younger brother from Chicago several years ago to create a better life. At the high school, Kedarie was known to nearly everyone. He was rambunctious, a willing center of attention. He was someone who got into his share of trouble, including getting suspended, friends said, but mainly for antics like dancing in the halls and skipping class that made him popular with fellow students. He shared tips about flat irons and false eyelashes with the girls. and was the person who helped you with your problems among the boys. They said he had worked part-time at Taco Bell and helped teach children to dance at a community group, the Maple Leaf Center. He befriended anyone who talked to him who wanted to be his friend because he was that cool a person. Andre Giles, 19, said, when Kedarie first started wearing skirts and makeup to school, some people were kind of shocked, but after the first couple times it became the normal thing. Shonda Campbell, a former counselor at the school, recalled, he was just a kid people liked, so I guess it didn't matter. Ms. Johnson said she viewed her son as gender fluid, rather than transgender, as some others have described him. She said Kedarie preferred the pronoun he, though some of his friends said he sometimes went by she. He wore clothing designed for men, and other times, for women, and he sometimes went by the name Kedarie, especially with people his own age. His mother said he had dated girls, but preferred to date boys. Most of all, those who knew Kedarie said he never seemed to be struggling with issues about his gender identity, or his sexual orientation, or what other people might think about any of it. Kedarie was just Kedarie, and that was that, said Tremel Jones, 17, a friend who was with him the night he disappeared. Not long before midnight on March 2, 2016, the police received reports of gunshots in an alley behind Walnut Street. They found a body in the tall grass. Kedarie was shot twice in the chest. He had no shoes on, and his shirt was pushed up. A bleach bottle was nearby. Prosecutors say Mr. Sanders-Galvez and a cousin, Jaron Perham, 26, both of whom lived most of the time in the street Louis area, had observed Kedarie only a few hours earlier in Burlington's Hy-Vee grocery store, where he liked to hang out and use the Wi-Fi. Surveillance video from the store showed him dressed that evening in long hair extensions, a pink headband and leggings, just before Kedarie vanished. When he left the store and stopped at a friend's home to borrow bras from her, he mentioned that he was worried about someone following him. The friend has testified. The prosecutors have not said exactly what they believe took place in the less than 2 hours before Kedarie was found dead, except to say that the two men liked women and had brought him back to a house where they had been staying and where they often had sex with various women. The prosecutor's suggestion, though not explicitly made before jurors, was that Mr. Sanders-Galvez and Mr. Perham thought that Kedarie was a woman and grew enraged and violent when they discovered otherwise. Kedarie's backpack and shoes were found in the house. Lawyers for Mr. Sanders-Galvez, who has sat silently in a suit and tie in the courtroom in Keokuk, Iowa, south of Burlington, where the trial is taking place, have yet to offer a defense. In an interview, one of the defense lawyers, Curtis Dial, said simply that his client did not do it. That's it. In charging the men with murder but not hate crimes, the local authorities concluded that the killing did not amount to a hate crime under Iowa's statute, which bars committing crimes against people for reasons that include race, religion, and sexual orientation. Gender identity is not covered by the state statute, and efforts last year to add it died in the Republican-held State House. A first-degree murder conviction, the local authorities noted, carries a serious penalty, life in prison. Even with the state trial underway, federal authorities can separately pursue the case as a violation of federal hate crime statutes, which do cover crimes motivated by gender identity. Christopher Perez, the Justice Department lawyer assisting on the case, who gave the prosecution's opening statement on Thursday, declined to be interviewed. Some legal experts said the decision about whether to bring federal hate crime charges was significant because of the message that could convey. Look, I think it was a hate crime and it needs to be said as such. Ms. Campbell, the former counselor, said, here was a child, a 16-year-old child trying to make his way in the world. You cannot convince me that he was not killed because of how he was presenting himself.